Lindsay, you've joined me to talk about appeals. Now, in this video series so far, we've looked at the Education Healthcare Needs Assessment process, the EHCP process, but of course, when we get to the level of an EHCP, there are a number of elements that can then be appealed, aren't there?
There are. There are 5 different reasons that a parent might be able to appeal. So that might be that the local authority have refused to undertake a needs assessment, that they've undertaken a needs assessment but refused to issue a plan, they've issued a plan but the parent isn't happy with the school that's named in the plan, or they're not happy with the contents of the EHCP, or that the local authority have ceased to maintain an EHCP, which means that they feel that the plan is no longer necessary.
Yes, so according to the law, the parent has the right to appeal at various stages of that process, including if the parent has made a request for the local authority to undertake an education healthcare needs assessment and the local authority have refused to even undertake that assessment.
Absolutely.
And then we go on to that they may have undertaken the assessment, but the local authority decide they won't issue a plan. Mm-hmm. Then looking at what's in the plan once that's been issued, if the parent is not happy with that.
Yep.
If the school placement that is named in section I, if the parent is unhappy with that.
Yep.
And also maybe you could just explain a little bit about what that means if the local authority then decides to cease to maintain a plan.
So cease to maintain, there are 2 reasons why a local authority might cease to maintain. The first reason would be if the local authority are no longer responsible for that child's education or that young person's education. So that might be if the young person has gone on to university or they've moved out of the local authority or they're no longer in education. The second reason would be that the local authority feel that that plan is no longer necessary. Typically that would be if they feel that the outcomes in the plan have been met. Just because the outcomes have been met, though, doesn't necessarily mean that the EHCP is no longer needed. It could be that actually there are more outcomes that would need to be set. So the parent has a right to appeal the decision to what they call cease to maintain.
So there are those 5 areas that can be appealed that we've mentioned, and I there mentioned appealing to the first tier tribunal. Can you just explain, Lindsay, what is the first tier tribunal?
Yeah, so the first tier tribunal is an independent national tribunal that hears appeals against a local authority's decision. So they are completely independent from the local authority and they hear all of the different types of appeals.
And who are the people that hear those appeals then at the first tier tribunal?
So it's made up of a panel. There is a judge and there are usually 2 what they call specialist members, and they have specialisms in special educational needs. They will read all of the paperwork that gets submitted as part of an appeal, and they've got really good understanding about the issues that parents are appealing against.
So parents can feel reassured that
Absolutely.
If they're going to appeal, that there are people that are hearing this that do have some understanding.
Yes, absolutely, and they really do read the paperwork, and you can, when you've been in hearings, you can really tell that they've understood the outstanding issues.
That's great. So now we know that there are these 5 areas that can be appealed.
So to be able to lodge an appeal, you would receive a decision letter from the local authority. Then you have 2 months from the date of that decision letter or 1 month from a date of a mediation certificate, whichever is later, to be able to lodge your appeal. So it's a really good idea when parents get that letter that they make a note of the date of that letter, because that really sort of starts your timetable for when you need to do certain things by.
So there's so much information for the appeal and so much more we could have covered here. But it's possible for parents to get more information, isn't it, via the Families InFocus website? So
yes, we've done a whistle-stop tour of appeals, but there's lots more information on our website regarding the different types of appeals. So we've got a designated fact sheet for each appeal that parents can download, and we've got lots more information about the appeal process in general.
So that's a great resource. Yeah. Watching the video and then getting the help sheets, there should be so much help and information for parents.
Yeah.